approach to critical thinking, and the new experience that he was having is, now I gotta proofread this essay and correct it.
Yeah.
And I need to know the content well enough that I know where I need to correct it, because if I turn it into my teacher like this, the teacher's gonna go, "Nuh-uh, baby, someone else wrote this," right? So his thought process was, maybe this is the push to really actually target critical thinking and stop using this antiquated approach that we've used to critical thinking that has been the same education system for over 200 years. It's time to change insofar as education goes. And so the wave is here and the wave is crashing. For the teachers who are panicking, again, I go back to my previous point that I made, you either ride the wave or you stop and you miss it altogether. So how can teachers start looking at this new, in this case, calculator in the classroom and figure out, well, if my student, for coding interviews, let me kind of span to question 2. If I have a candidate who was able to submit me a code base that was largely written by a generative AI, but they had the capacity to know to unit test and QA QC that code before they submit it to me in an interview, I'm gonna call that innovative, and I might hire that person because they just showed me that they can co-create with the generative AI. The head of AI at Tesla right now uses generative AI to generate 73% of the code he touches on a daily basis. The rest is review, because it reflects the higher understanding of what is happening in the system when you're able to go through and debug, right? So you're not only showcasing one talent, which is to generate code, you're showcasing 2, the ability to review QA, QC, and unit test, right? So that's kind of how I want people to start. Maybe that's just my style of like flipping the problem on its head a little bit and looking for the opportunity that it provides us and the fact that change is inevitable and it's already here. So what are we gonna do about it? That's my response.
So I agree. I just actually came off a 4-day summit where education was also discussed, and I actually met with a small coalition of the willing of educators who ended up deciding to open their own kind of systems because they couldn't use the existing systems to get the level of education they felt that their students needed, which is focused more on the critical thinking, some of the mathematical bases that they need for them to be able to do other things and apply them into the skills kind of learning. And they all agreed that if there's a way to provide, what is the best architecture to provide a trusted and secure generative AI sandbox so that teachers and students and parents can access it to help learn what it is and also help teach what it is to the students and also to themselves. And it's great that now that conversation is being flipped. It's not about protecting the existing education system, it's about how do I use this as a way to combine student, parents, and teacher in one place where the content can be shared, both sets can learn, and both sets can teach. Because parents have to support the children, teachers then have to support the students and the parents. Look at Common Core. All right? How difficult was that for parents to support? The teachers hadn't even been taught that way. Parents definitely weren't taught the way, and kids started to fail, right? So there's been some lessons from that now can be used in the design. And that's where I think we need to have more conversations with some school districts are starting to ask that. How can we build that system that has that same access for all 3 parties so that the students are not the ones who end up paying for it in the end, and so that's been really interesting.
All right, we're gonna have 2 lightning round questions and then it'll be a